You're a licensed real estate agent and you're wondering whether you should join EXP or Real. This video is going to cover all the differences and the similarities between both EXP and Real. I'm Ali Garced, welcome back to my channel. If you have any questions about joining EXP, book a call with the link below, or if by the end of this video you know that you already want to join us because you've seen my other videos on this channel, the link to apply is below. After you apply and I see your application come in through my email, we're going to get you started on the onboarding process and everything that comes with joining our community. Both EXP and Real are great brokerages. They're both cloud-based and they both have revenue share. And I did a full deep dive already on the differences specifically between revenue share at EXP and Real in this video. But this video is not only going to cover the revenue share, but also all the different aspects, the differences between each brokerage. Real has been gaining a lot of momentum. They're very loud on social media. So I want to start this off with agent count. At the time of this recording, Real has 15,000 agents and EXP has close to 90,000. Real was first founded in 2014 and since then they now have 15,000 agents. EXP was founded in 2009 and they grew to 90,000 pretty quick. So Real has been around for 10 years. At the time of this recording, it's 2024. So they've grown in the past 10 years up to 15,000 agents. And in the first 10 years of EXP being a brokerage from 2009 to 2019, it grew 25,000 agents. So that's just a little bit of background as far as the agent count within each brokerage, when each brokerage started, and their trends of their agent growth. So next up, no monthly fee. This is what Real says, is they don't have a monthly fee, but their fee is put somewhere else. The bottom line up front is that Real is a little bit more expensive. So even though Real does not have a monthly fee and EXP does at $85 a month, Real instead charges $250 for your first 3 transactions of every year, aka they want to get $750 that you're paying toward the company. That amount goes straight to the brokerage. And if you're not in production, then that amount, the $750, is taken out of your revenue share. We'll get into more into revenue share later, and again, it's in another video that I already created. But just keep in mind that if you are just recruiting and if you're just in a brokerage to get revenue share, then with Real, not only do you have that $750, you also have to pay an extra just to pay to play, is how their revenue share works. And you have to pay an additional 1.2% processing fee every single time you get rev share. With EXP, you don't have to pay to play. You don't have an additional processing fee. And it's different from commission versus, active income working with buyers and sellers and revenue share. So you can just be a recruiter only. Whether you find that positive or not, EXP, I think I find that positive because that provides an additional retirement plan that I don't think that Real has as of right now. I threw a lot at you just now, so I do want to break this down so that way it is as simple as possible. But if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below. I respond to all comments. So for Real, your first 3 transactions, say you're working with buyers or sellers, or you're just a recruiter, you will be paying $250 out of every one of your first 3 checks every year. That adds up to $750. Again, that goes straight to the company. With Real, you also have to opt in to pay for the CRM, and that's $40 a month, and they use Chime. With EXP, it's $85 a month, and the KV Core, our CRM is KV Core, that's already included. So of course you don't have to use Chime if you don't want to, but I doubt that you're gonna find another CRM that's worthwhile that's as cheap as $40 a month. So that's a good deal for Real, but also it's already included if you were to join EXP. With KV Core, what we have with EXP, if you're to use that directly and not be with EXP, or you want to purchase your own KV Core, it's almost $500 or maybe $550 last time I checked, which is like 6 months ago. $550 a month for you to go directly with KV Core. But with EXP, that's part of the $85 a month. So let's take the $40 a month every single month for Chime if you're opted in, because again, I'm not sure if you're going to find another CRM that's better than that. And boy, should you be using a CRM. If not, continue watching videos on this channel. So with the $750 for Real that you're paying every single year, pretty much you can divide that by 12. So that way you can get like a month to month comparison with EXP to Real. That's what I'm doing right now. So $750 divided by 12 months is $62.50 per month. And that's just to pay Real, to pay the brokerage. Again, EXP is $85 a month. Plus you add the Chime, which is your CRM, which is $40 a month. And we're at $102.50 a month. Again, comparing that to just the $85 a month with EXP. So right then and there, EXP, in my opinion, $102.50 a month versus $85, EXP wins. So I do find it interesting that they say, yeah, but we have no monthly fees, but that's because their fees are put in other spots and other locations. You have to pay, a brokerage has to get paid. Whether you're at a brick and mortar, a local mom and pop, an indie, a virtual one, a cloud-based brokerage, a brokerage has to get paid. So yes, they don't have any monthly fees, but you're actually paying more because they put it in different line items. Pretty similar to like when you tell your clients, as a real estate agent, when you tell your clients to look at the CD for the lender charges, they might not have any origination fees, but they might make it up in other line items. Or with brick and mortar, like in more traditional brokerages, we have no franchise fees. Come work with us, but you have to pay a lot more for paper fee and fax fee and just ability to sit down and a chair fee, higher E&O insurance fee, higher broker review fee. They just make it up in other ways. So just because you see something like that says, oh my gosh, but they don't have any monthly fees, think how else is this brokerage running? So that's the monthly amount breakdown. If we're going to do this for a year, for an annual cost, EXP $85 a month times 12 is $1,020 a year, $1,020 every single year for EXP. For Real, it's a $750 plus the $40 a month times 12 months for Chime, which is $1,230. So $1,230 with Real every single year, or $1,020 with EXP. Again, EXP is cheaper. Next up, we're going to talk about the different splits that these brokerages have. With Real, it's $85.15 and a $12,000 cap, and it takes $80,000 of GCI to cap with Real. With EXP, it's an 80-20 split, $16,000 cap, and it's the same thing. You have to have $80,000 GCI in order to cap with EXP. So both have the same amount of cap, except with Real, after you cap, you then have to pay a $285 transaction fee, which is higher than EXP. And that's every transaction after you cap. It might not make a difference if you are a smaller producer and only do 5 transactions a year, but as you do 20, 50, 100 transactions a year, that adds up. So at that point, it's more beneficial to be with EXP. Now let's go over the revenue share. Again, I have a full deep dive video right here that you can watch after this, but the company, Real, started changing their model recently, to which a lot of people believe that it's going to change again because the current model with Real, they say, is unsustainable for the company. The revenue share with Real is 5% for your first line. So you sponsor an agent in who actually produces, you get 5%. Level 2 is 4%. Real has 5 levels. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then with EXP, it's 7 levels. The most you can make if you have all 5 levels unlocked is 15% for Real. And the most you can make with EXP is 18.5%. So again, financially speaking, EXP takes the win on this one. The maximum amount of money that you can make for each of your first levels is $4,000 with Real. And this is where a lot of people that have been around the block much longer than I have, and those that have been with Real and then have moved over to EXP, say that the company model is unsustainable at this time. For Real is with your first level and second level, so 5% plus the 4% with level 2, that's 9%. If the company is paying out an agent 9% and they're only taking 6%, that will not work long term. With EXP, the revenue share is a 50-50 split. They're not paying the agents more than the company's getting, it's 50-50 split. So therefore, it's sustainable and can continue running. It didn't used to be that way with EXP, which is why a lot of people think that Real is going to change their revenue share. So if you're planning on joining Real just for the revenue share, just to be a recruiter, expect that that revenue share breakdown, the percentages, is going to change. Are going to change? That the percentages are going to change. The agents that were with EXP when it first started, they didn't have the same breakdown of what we have now for revenue share. It used to be more favorable in the agent's terms. And that's because Glenn Sanford, the CEO, was taking a hit for a long, long time. But you can only take a hit so long. You can take a reduced amount, or the company can be negative for only so much time before the company just has to be in the positive. So therefore, to go from being in the negative to being the positive, they have to change the structure. So the early agents that onboarded into EXP, I'm talking like the first maybe, 5,000 agents. Again, we're now at 90,000. They had much more favorable splits, but it had to change. So a lot of people see that, EXP being founded in 2009, that Real is kind of like walking in its like footsteps, that revenue share is going to change. A lot of people even predict that it's going to be in 2025 or maybe 2026 but like no later than 2026 that the revenue share model with Real is going to change. And when that does change, a lot of people that left from one company to Real for the revenue share, because it's 5% for level one, it's going to have like some sort of boomerang effect where they're going to go back to the brokerage that they came from, or they're going to go to another brokerage. And it happens every single time a brokerage change. Whenever there's a new brokerage, they have very favorable terms because they want to recruit as many agents as they can until it changes to a more profitable way for the brokerage to continue making money or start making money. Therefore, a lot of agents will be upset with the change because they didn't expect it, although they should have, and then they go back to a more stable company. So again, if you plan on just doing revenue share, which I don't blame you, revenue share has changed so many people's lives, and it's the reason that I can retire this year if I wanted to. One of those big differences is that with Real, again, you have to pay the 1.2% processing fee, you have to pay to play, and you have to pay $750. Even if you're not doing transactions, that will then come out of your revenue share. So your revenue share will be less. Unlike with EXP, where you don't have to pay any processing fees, you don't have to pay to play, and any revenue share you get, you don't have to split with the company. It's already being split with the percentage that you're getting. So there are no extra fees. You start collecting month one, if you have anybody that you've sponsored in, of course. And they're producing, because that's the whole thing, is we're all brokerages first. So my opinion being that I want to retire, EXP really makes it easy and has the actual track record to where you can join that brokerage and you can use that as a retirement method, not just for you, but for the agents. So say you're an independent broker owner and you want to bring your team over because you no longer want to pay for all of the expenses. You want to pawn off the training to somebody else, EXP has you. You want to pawn off the HR, the transactions, the money issues, the IT issues to somebody else, EXP has you at no extra cost. You keep your company culture, and you can have the agents on your team sponsor other agents on your team, so that way they get a sense of what revenue share is and they're gonna be hooked, so your company culture can multiply. So with EXP, it is more of a retirement play. Both are great brokerages. However, if you want to step out of the business, Real might not be the way to go because you have to pay extra to then step out of the business. You pretty much have to be a producing agent or giving money to the company in order for you to get revenue share. So if you're looking to step out of the business in 1 year, 10 years, 40 years, EXP is the way to go. Another huge difference related to revenue share is that with Real, you can name 2 sponsors. With EXP, you cannot. And that is why it is so important to make sure that you find the right sponsor for you, that person's going to give you access to things that will make you successful, whatever you consider success, that sponsor's sponsor has a level of success and track record and is available to help you all the way up 7 levels. Again, EXP has 7 levels for rev share. Real only has 5. I think EXP does this the right way, where you want to make sure that you're joining the right family the first time. This is where I see a lot of people mess up. They join EXP super fast. They only interview one person. They're like, okay, great. I think you're going to, help me. Or they don't spend the time to learn about what that company, what the culture of that team or informal team is like. They name somebody as a sponsor. They expect something that the sponsor never said that they were going to give, or worse, they said they're going to give it to you and they never do. That's why I wholeheartedly believe that we have the best culture, the best 5 pillars nation. We offer so much at no cost. You will not find that anywhere else. Whether you want to work with just investors, become an investor yourself, work with just buyers or just sellers, or just an outbound referral agent, which is what I do now, we have the checklists and the one-on-one accountability and the group accountability calls. We have trainings every single day of the week, multiple times during the day. There is no shortage of accountability groups, and it's all for free. We give you the playbook. All you have to do is just do it. That's literally it. That's how I made $150,000 my first year in the business when I was still part-time, because I was still active duty Air Force. And that's how now I make $200,000 just by outbound referrals. I have the shortcuts, the emails, the templates, the scripts, everything is plug and play. If you want to learn more about that, book a call with me below. If you already know that you want to join us, we already have people joining automatically. I'm waking up to seeing people that have joined our community because they see the value in us. If you know that you see the value, I'll take you. As soon as I see that application come through my email, I'm going to start the onboarding process with you. You're going to get hit up with Shelby. You're going to have all of our onboarding checklists, and you are going to be good to go. I promise. It's just up to you. At that point, you will be your own limiting factor. That's it. But going back to revenue share. So with Real, the fact that you can name 2 different people as your sponsor, you know how the level 1 is 5%? Well, when somebody names not just you as a sponsor, but someone else as a sponsor, not only does it go from 5% to less than that, you would think it'd be 50-50. Say you both know the same person. Say you and I both are in Real. We both know Larry. Say Larry wants to name you as a sponsor. You've been working with Larry for months, trying to switch brokerages. This is what we offer as a crew. And then I come in last second because I just happen to talk to Larry. I'm like, oh, you're joining Real? I'm with Real too. You know what? You can name 2 people as a sponsor. How about you name me as well? You'll get everything that I have access to as well. Larry's like, oh my gosh, this is the best of both worlds. This is amazing. I can join under you and I can join under Allie. I'm going to get the best of both worlds, get so much resources and training. Well, instead of you getting that 5%, not only do you not get 2.5%, you get less than that. So 10%, if someone names 2 people as a sponsor, the company, Real, will get 10%, you will get 40%, and I will get 40%. So you've done all the work, you've teed it up for me, you've just been like, and all I have to do is just be like, oh, hey, name me as a sponsor too. And then not only do you not get 100%, you go from getting 100% of that 5% rev share, you go from getting 100% to 40%. And then of course, anybody that they sponsor in is less. So instead of, you know how level 1 is 5%, level 2 is 4%, level 3 is 3%, level 4 is 2%, level 5 is 1%, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1%. You go from pretty much 40% to less than that. You can slash each in less than half. So you don't get 5%, you don't get 4%, you don't get 3, blah, 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 blah. With EXP, there is none of that. You name one person as a sponsor. If for some reason you realize you messed up, you have to leave the whole company for 6 months and a day and rename somebody else as a sponsor. That's why it's so important that you make sure that you're joining the right crew, because your crew will give you access to everything. Now I want to talk about culture. This is the first time I've ever heard culture being said so much, like the actual word culture and the word silos when referring to EXP. I had never heard that until I spoke to somebody that is in Real. But so I want to explain this. Culture in both are great. It really depends on who you join with EXP. And this is where a gotcha is where you as a sponsor, you cannot offer something for your downline only. Anything that you offer to your downline, you have to open up to the entire brokerage. So therefore, it's very hard for you to distinguish yourself from other Real agents. You know, why should I name you as a sponsor if you can't give me something directly? So it's very different as opposed to EXP, where you know, if I join under this person or that person or this person, this is what I'm given. This is, you know, a team split if they're a formal team, or like in our case where we're not a formal team, we give you everything at no team split. You are joining as an independent individual agent. Best of both worlds, you get more money. You know exactly what you're going to be given. And they say that that is a violation of Real's independent contractor agreement, or ICA, that if you offer something just to your downline and you don't offer it to the rest of the brokerage, if you don't open it up to the rest of the brokerage, that you're in violation then of the ICA. Anything you have worked on, any checklists or anything to make your downline successful, you have to open up to others in the entire brokerage. So my final thoughts, you know where I stand. But just to clarify that even further, EXP has an exit plan. You do not have to work and open houses until you're 60, 70, 80 years old. You can retire, and your agents can retire too. So if you care about your agents and you want them to retire, you should want them to step out of the business. Teach them revenue share. Show them revenue share. Some people also talk about looking at how much stock the CEO or the president has in each brokerage, and the fact that Real president doesn't have as much stock. I think it's like 5% stock in that company. You know, I don't really have too much final thoughts on that, but I feel like that's always said, so I do have to bring it up. If you are a believer in any brokerage, you can always just buy their stock. They're both publicly traded. EXP has been around the block for longer than Real. Both are great brokerages though. But again, if you want to join our community, and I have so many other videos explaining how our community works, join us. My link to apply to be part of our community is below. The next steps are going to be that my assistant is going to email you to reach out to you as soon as we see your application come through completely. We're going to onboard you completely, and that's when we're going to start the one-on-one trainings, the group trainings. We're going to plug and play you into all of our WhatsApp groups, all of our app. We have a whole app, by the way, of like all of our trainings. It's going to be a lot, but we're with you every single step of the way. See you in the next video.